Hey guys, Chris Americos here with another video for you. Today we're going to be talking about comparative adjectives. When we talk about comparative adjectives, there are a lot of different ways that words change. Today I'm going to tell you how you can do that. Now, what are comparative adjectives? How are they different from usual adjectives? An example of a usual adjective is quick. An example of a comparative adjective is quicker. So comparative adjectives are words that let us look at two different things and make a judgment about them, or a comparison. That's why when we use comparative adjectives, we always need to have two things or two groups of things. If we say Mike is quicker, we automatically wonder who the second person is, because we must be comparing him with someone. So first of all, we have some words that change in an irregular way. For example, good. Good changes to better. Mike is better than Jim. Bad changes to worse. Jim is worse than Mike. And far changes to further. For example, I live further from work than you. So usually with comparative adjectives, when we're making the comparison, we use the words than or as. After the word than or as, we need to use an object pronoun. If you forgot what an object pronoun is, it's words like me, you, him, her, it, us, you, them. We can either use an object pronoun after these words, or we can use a subject pronoun and a helping verb. For example, I can say, I live further from work than you, or I can say, I live further from work than you do. Next, let's talk about one-syllable adjectives. For example, small. One-syllable adjectives change to a comparative adjective by adding the ending er. So small becomes smaller. She is smaller than he is. However, with some words we don't need to add er, just are. For example, blue. Blue changes to bluer, and we only add the letter r. Alright, all my examples so far have been with than. Now I need an example with as. Today the sky is as blue as it was yesterday. In this example, the comparison that we make is that two things are equal, and not that one is more than the other. We also used a phrase at the end instead of a pronoun. Some one-syllable words end with a special letter combination that tells us that we should add an extra letter when we put on the comparative ending, er. A good example of this type of word is big. Big changes to bigger, and we add an extra G before the er ending. This is because when a word ends with the letter combination consonant, vowel, consonant, we need to double the last consonant. Consonants are letters like B, C, D, F, G. Vowels are letters like A, E, I, O, U. For example, my vocabulary is bigger than yours. Or we can say, my vocabulary is bigger than yours is. In this case, we need to use a possessive pronoun at the end of the sentence because we described possession in the first part. Our next example is the word happy, which changes to happier. But the letter Y at the end of happy changes to I when we change the word to happier. Why? Yes, Y. No, Y. Yes, you add Y. Yeah, it ends with Y. So, two-syllable adjectives that end with the letter Y, usually it sounds like E at the end of these words, change in a different way than usual. We don't just add ER, but we need to change the last letter, the letter Y, to the letter I. Y changes to I. And then we add ER. So happy, happier. We feel happier every day. In this example, we can see that we didn't mention the two things that we're comparing, but one of them is already understood from context. But adjectives that are more than two syllables change in a completely different way. Instead of adding ER at the end, we just add the word more before the adjective. So intelligent changes to more intelligent. Now, let me remind you that comparative adjectives that have the ending ER, if we want to find the opposite of it, we need to use a different word. So, for example, bigger is the opposite of smaller. Here we have two different words that are both comparative adjectives. But when we use the structure more, like more intelligent, the opposite of this is less intelligent. So we can say that the comparative adjective of intelligent is more intelligent or less intelligent. Sue is more intelligent than Bob, or Sue is more intelligent than Bob is. And our last example is the word thankfully. Thankfully is an adverb, not an adjective. But adverbs have a comparative form too. It doesn't matter how big or small the adverb is, how many syllables it has, what letter it ends on. The comparative form of any adverb is more or less. So for example, thankfully, more thankfully, less thankfully. They couldn't have behaved more thankfully. Let's take another look at an example where adjectives and adverbs might be confusing concerning the comparative form. For example, we have the word friendly and we have the word quickly. Friendly is an adjective. That means that friendly becomes a comparative adjective in the following way. Friendlier, the Y changes to I. But quickly, which is an adverb, changes in a completely different way. More quickly. This is because all adverbs change the same way. I hope this video helped you understand a little bit more about comparative adjectives. Don't forget to watch my other videos, press like, press subscribe, and leave a comment under the video. Until next time, it's Chris Americos.